continue to move west. However, a fast system, if we had a fast system, it would have continued to move in that direction because of this slowdown, the inherent characteristics of these storms. Sometimes they just slow down, and it's allowing a small trough steered. These things are steered by things thousands of miles away. That is allowing it to slow down and eventually turn. The big question is, where is it going to make that turn? And that's why we have the forecast cone, such an important part of our forecast, because we really tell the general public not to necessarily just focus on that center line where that is. We tell them focus on the cone, because that's based on our average error over the last 5 years. So really the way to think about it is the center could be anywhere inside that cone. So that allows for solutions. Just small changes could put this right along the coast. We can also see landfall moving northward. So that's why we really tell people to really pay attention and be ready with time. And we're going to be dealing with this hurricane all week. Look at the time frames here. This is 8 a.m. Monday. That's 8 a.m. Tuesday. Very devastating for the Bahamas since this is so slow. That's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we're going to see impacts in Florida, Georgia, and also the Carolinas with time. And the rainfall is something we want to talk about. We'll have storm surge impacts. We'll also have some rain in addition to the winds. And some of this rain, this is a message that we're keying with the general public. We see these values 6 to 8 inches and some places more, but little teeny changes in that track could bring some of these higher values onshore. Right now, we're thankful most of those are offshore, but a small change, just not small changes in that forecast. It could be a little wobble that causes that change, could bring some of these high values onshore. So we're keeping everybody ready. We're doing the interviews. We're talking to the emergency managers. I just can't explain what a tight relationship, close relationship NOAA has, and the Weather Service with the FEMA, the state emergency managers, the governors, and also the local county and parish emergency managers out there. They're our partners, and we're all in this together. So that concludes my briefing, Mr. President.
Could I just ask you, 2 days ago, we were given a really comprehensive briefing, and they seemed to think almost every prediction was that it was going to go right through Florida and into the Gulf, actually right across Florida. Does that not have a chance of happening now, or what do you think? I mean, everything seems now it goes up north. What do you think the chances that it goes directly straight as the original predictions were?
Yeah, this is just well inside this cone. It just kind of gets the variability in that forecast track. And what's happened with time, once it slowed down, the forecast had to nudge to the north because now it has that influence with that trough. Teeny changes can make a big difference in the eventual movement of these storms. Literally thousands of parameters that we're trying to measure and put into the computer models to be able to get these tracks. So a small wobble, a small change can cause that forecast track to nudge a little bit. That's why there's so much uncertainty. And we spend a lot of time talking about the actual cone because, you look at the last 5 years and that's the forecast error possible with that track. So we try to communicate these uncertainties and it does happen, especially when you're measuring thousands of parameters, trying to get that into the models, you can have these small changes.
How certain are you that it'll go north?
Every single computer model that we have is pulling this to the north. But the big question we have is about where that center is going to go. And that's why we're really trying to communicate the edge of that cone. That landfall literally could be right on the coast, anywhere in Florida and even up the Carolinas. We could see a landfall too soon where you can have some damage right along the coast. But we're trying to communicate, even if it's offshore, look at the size. I mean, remember the NOAA satellite, how big the storm is. Even if it's offshore, that could bring some devastating impacts even on the coast. We're trying to communicate that size and really try to focus people on this large system and not